but there's still pressure from the off angle. Lightning's been spotted, has got the teammate next to him. GZ is there as well. They both made it through. It's treacherous hillsides now as GZ can't turn up the hill towards Nigma Galaxy's position as they swing out to the eastern side. VGS have eyes on as well.
RSG were right underneath Stalwart down towards the south side, so they were very, very far behind, and this is a very typical RSG play. Just send it to the direct center of the circle and see what you can make do with it, but in this time, they have sent straight into the barbed wires of all these players and got cut up in the process. And that'll be RSG out. Again, with Nigma Galaxy still in the match here, this gives them great opportunity to ladder those 6 points at the beginning of the game.
Falcons taking on Stalwart. This is good news for the top of the table race right now. If you're a Falcons fan here in Saudi Arabia, Action getting taken very, very low, but does get away with it. In the meantime, Team Seoul eliminated. They will be out now, ranked 16th on the game. 15 teams remain, Blank. Oh, no
Horrific action. Yeah, out now, just top remaining. And Falcons, like we said before, they were patient. They waited for their turn in line, and now it seems that they'll be moving into the circle. And with Stalwart pushed out of the way, this is real opportunity to start making up those points from before.
Stalwart still have one player. They still got top, but it's on the outside there. Difficult stuff. Falcons with 4. One a limb on the cards. Back-to-back just over this ridge line. All looking to try and push into this compound. They will certainly see this US kill switch. Needs to be on the money for this. J-Way a little bit further down. Falcons yet to make that aggressive push. They're worried about the backstep.
See the smoke drop by top. They assume it's from that final player from Stalwart. Top just dropping on the iron sights. A lot of these players do tend to feel like the iron sights gives them a better shot, even at distance. We'll have the first aid, so Falcon really not letting these teams go at all. Morph, though, also in the sightlines, and Stalwart still has to move in. And with this circle down towards the southeast, Falcon, they've been thrown a bit of rope, and they're going to start clambering up it.
Try and get to the top of that cliff. I mean, at the moment, the top of the table's pretty close. They did let it slip just that little bit down in 3rd place. They started the game 12 points behind Vampire, 16 points behind Stalwart, who have just been eliminated now. So the further Falcons can go, the higher they'll fly.
Back to back. Somehow got that chicken dinner early today, doing some pretty neat work, but it was Vampire Esports that came in 2nd place against them. It was very close at that. Now, Vampire Esports need to make a move off towards that eastern side, potentially. Right now, they've got Ravenclaw out of the circle. It looks like they're just setting up the barricade versus a lot of these teams. They want to clear this western side, keep it as safe as possible, and play from there. Look at this little dugout they have in the rocks. This is going to be absolutely instrumental to their endgame.
Try and leverage that. Try and get something done. Back-to-back, engaging with Nigma Galaxy on their north side as the push comes through from the squad. Back-to-back currently holding that compound on the top of the hill. We saw them push up to it earlier. Ralph looking to potentially get that res, but the backlines of Nigma Galaxy suffering as well on this aggressive move.
Yeah, that's one player going down already. Lord on knee, Ralph on knee as well. I think that's just one player up in Hamodi now. Real tough situation. Ravenclaw. What's this man been doing all his lonesome? Been providing so much good frontal fire for the rest of the team. Vampire Esports were able to scoop up a couple of points for themselves. Here's the nade earlier that put an end to Stalwart's run here on our angle.
The judge is able to get that spray down. Spots the player in the bush. Nicely found. Vampire Esports. They are just sending bullets every which way and somehow finding their mark on pretty much everything there. Morph looking to engage. Rocky doesn't get the knock there. Back behind cover and has to push back through the smoke. GK first spotted on the off angle there for Ravenclaw. Nicely picked up. TJB thinned down yet again.
Has to drop to the floor. We'll have to just jump up and go for the quick peek. Xiao actually goes down, and that's the support from the rest of the team you're looking for. That does send Vampire Esports down to just 3 players now, but they are racking up points slowly but surely.
Box are on their north side with a little bit heavier firepower right now, a little bit more hefty as the Vampires do suffer down to 3. Flukerth, Stone and Schweppes Still a formidable squad to be dealing with, and it seems like they've turned back up. But unfortunately for them, there's a knock, and Schweppes taken low. A really beautiful spray from Break to really suppress that position. It will slow them down. A southern shift comes through.
A long nade, but not quite long enough here. And this might just give time for Vampire to resurrect one of their fallen teammates. Morph taking knocks from Falcons up top side. That's never alone there, who had such a good run yesterday in their 1v2 versus the Korean powerhouse of Damwon Kia over on Erangel. So far, Falcons have been controlling this circle very, very nicely. Circle does come down to them now, but they've been playing it slow, safe, and calculated.
Enigma Galaxy still with 3 players. They've been able to pick up the pieces on the north side, and they are clearing that area. Very nicely found. I think that was Damwon Kia who did go down to them on the north side. Falcons, though, engaged with Morph right now, all very, very low. But they are looking to get those heals off, and they are succeeding for the most part here. Morph staying alive in those smoke covers.
Vampire Esports will be them sending the smokes out as well. Box slowly crawling their way up.
Oh.
There's one taken down on USG from Break here. Missile just tries to send his way up, propelled by hydrogen up this mountain.
Vaz is still down in the dirt there, I believe, out in the open. Unless they did get eliminated there, I have to double check. But yeah, maybe they did get... No, 52, still there, have their representative quite near to box as well. Could prove problematic with that tiny little bit of cover out in the open. Vampire Esports finally able to take that Thorn out. As Missile fires down yet again over onto Break. Laid bare out in the open. Really not going to survive that. Tree not there in time. Only one player from box now down the hill.
This is that deadly staircase I was talking about earlier. It's the staging, and Missile just took it for an absolute advantage. Enigma Galaxy, though, with 3 players still up right now and 8 eliminations. They have really gotten back into this one. Stepping back up to the plate now. Vampire Esports did a very, very good job to clear the western side from not the most amazing positioning considering the circle. I know it's time for them to start making this work, because honestly, after that first game on the first day, we really expected great things out of them. And now they're starting to bring it back into form.
Donuts USG go down to a nade from Enigma Galaxy there as well, and the north side is starting to get swept. Vampire Esports will be their next obstacle if they want to push this way, but Falcons dominating the majority of this circle. A knock over onto Enigma Galaxy will slow their approach from the north side.
That's from Vampire Esports as well. We currently have 6 eliminations. Falcons currently only with 3, but they have caused so much damage in this lobby. If it was just a knock here and there, slowly but surely, they are really cementing their ground in a very formidable position on the map at the moment. Fluketh, though, with the nade. This guy was on fire on Erangel earlier on in this tournament. Now looking for a little bit more. Morph, 4 players alive.
Circle north towards Vampire Esports. A little bit more time there. Rocky did finally go down. The nade took the majority of that down red bar health away, leaving only 2 4-player squads alive. Falcon Esports and back-to-back, who've had probably some of their best results of the tournament so far today, but it might have been too little too late. Not so for the other teams.
Falcon, never alone with the MK14 in hand. That thing is absolutely brutal here in PUBG Mobile. The speed at which he can rattle off those shots is terrifying. There's Ralph. Nade up top side. Not easy hitting these nades from that kind of angle either. But they are in the trenches. Enigma Galaxy know exactly where to send these nades in.
This utility usage absolutely on point. Polo shimmies out wide to the left. Low HP, spotted behind the smoke, will be going down if it is going to be found out. Vampire Esports are still on a frag, and they will be hunting. Morph, go down to it. We're down to just 4 teams. Plenty of casualties popping up, and Falcons, unfortunately, suffering 2 of them.
Vampire Esports just pulling out the broom and dustpan, because they have absolutely swept this edge of absolutely anyone that might have even dared to have challenged them. Fluketh looking for a little bit more loot from downhill. They are really limited on meds right now. You can see Stoned absolutely nothing on board to patch himself back up with. They'll be after sharing those meds at some point, so they will have to group back together. But Vampire Esports, they have been on a warpath.
Hamodi really taking the fight to back as well. 2 players up and standing for them, but it's only 1 player now. Just Hamodi himself with a 1 versus 1 against Kill Switch. Finds some shots underneath the vehicle, looking for more, but spray down is there, and it's J-Way to stand up tall for back-to-back on the top of the hill. Can they get these reses and get back to 3?
Swings out wide. Vampire Esports tries to take advantage of the situation, but Falcons, they're too fast with it. They're right into the scene. Peregrines here in the battlefield.
Looking to get on that hunt. J-Way behind the buggy, taken down. 4 players for Falcons versus the Vampires.
The wings are wide span right now, and this is where they start to block out the sun. But that's 1 going down already. Stone finding it again. No meds whatsoever. This fight is one of attrition, and it absolutely is that Falcons have the betterment in terms of supplies.
And Youssef's position behind this crate as well, if it finds it onto Stone, is great. But it looks like Stone has the info that there is a player there. What can be leveraged from this spot as the circle moves more towards Vampire?
You can just barely see him in the grass if you're Yusuf, but that's mainly because we've got the X-ray on right now, so very difficult for Yusuf to even identify this. Question is, how much utility does Vampire Esports have left? And I think they've got absolutely nothing. Luckily, there was a loot crate on their side, but it's 1 apiece either side. Never alone, nade in hand. Stone actually finds Yusuf, and he can't quite hit the shots. That takes him down to 2. Vampire Esports are making this happen.
10 eliminations up to 11 as Never Alone gets tagged. In they go with the push. Fluke up to the feet as well. Never Alone knocked. It's all down to Powerful for Falcons, but the Vampires running up the hill will be able to take it down. It's Vampire Esports with a chicken dinner. What a resurgence from this team.
With absolutely nothing in the back pockets, in the backpack whatsoever. They just make this happen. Real bushcraft training for the Vampire Esports team. Goodness me, look at that. Hanging their heads with Fluketh. You just cannot imagine how they're feeling right now. 1 of relief. It is a great situation for this team. And realistically, taking that momentum into the next 2 matches, you're going to be feeling good.
Absolutely. I mean, it is such a close race at the top right now, which is brilliant to see this late in the day. But the fact that they were both there means that that race is still going to be close, right? It's still going to be really, really tight. Not only that, Enigma Galaxy with a good, solid performance in that game, earning a lot of points. RSG going down early means that 5th place is in jeopardy. It would be a great result for Enigma Galaxy to pick that one up.
100%. There is a shake-up at the top at the moment, and realistically, teams are flying every which place and then coming back into the shaker itself. I just don't know who is going to come out on top at the moment. It is so volatile.
No, it is absolutely all to play for here with 2 games remaining. We're going to head back over to the desk, and you will not believe what they have to say.
عايز تترجم راب؟ تعالى لي. ملوك الصين دي انا ملخصه في سطور، بس مين يقرا؟ فاهم؟ كلام الشارع ده انا هرش كل المجال حبايبي. بروز.
وانا كاكازوكو مصدع القي نظرة لو على الحلاوة عندي كاستر والاسم.
عفرت يا عفرت، هتفضل معفرتها ولا ايه يا برو؟
انت مين يا هو ازاي ده دخل هنا يا جدعان؟
نكسر الدنيا الاول وبعدين نتكلم، نعيد من الاول.
لا 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 مش مسجل.
اخواتي
عشان فاهمين السين، سبوتيفاي عمل لك بلاي ليست الاقوى راب مصري. اسمع ملوك السين ببلاش.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
If you want to play like the pros, make sure you guys are checking out the Sony Xperia 1.4 or 4.1, 4.4. Either of them are all great, as it's been made in collaboration with professional players, and it is a smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile. Keep in mind, actually, the players you see on the stage are doing just that. Max, no! Get off that! See, we have to worry. This guy's trying to steal these phones. We have to actually have security on the other side of these cameras looking at him, telling him you're not allowed to touch those.
Yeah, see them.
They're over there. Ladies and gentlemen, Vampire Esports, the first back-to-back chicken dinner we've had. The team from Thailand, we were definitely worried after during day 2, considering they couldn't replicate the performance from day 1. But Sertani and co, they've been able to, I think, take first place away.
Yeah, I think we can agree, Kalash. This circle was horrendous.
Yes.
It was not easy to deal with, but they got some like those plateaus around Star where you can play from, and Vampire really were clearing a lot of the Western teams trying to enter from that position, so that's why you see such high eliminations this game coming their way. Is that plateau and cleared out like 3 squads in very, very easy fashion.
I think they're feeling the flow here as we take a look at the match rankings brought to you by STC, of course, with 28 points going their way after the previous game. I said it in the previous game, I think they were almost clairvoyant in where they had to go from circle to circle. However, this one as well, this was a test, a proper test, a Stalber ending up on the side of this mountain as well, and they played it phenomenally. I'm very, very impressed by what we're seeing from Vampire.
Gentlemen, that victory right there for Vampire Esports was a $200,000 victory. Second place is $325,000. First place, $520. Well, I guess it's technically take away the 25. $200,000 nonetheless. They are currently in first place, but not only them. You have Team Falcons now chasing Stalwart Esports. You have Enigma Galaxy, who should have surpassed Reagan's Gaming. Reagan's Gaming should be out of top 5.
Yeah.
That is not good for that team coming in from China. But you have other Team Donuts as well trying to make a last-ditch effort, a resurgence here.
I would say an 11-pointer game is not going to be enough for Donuts. Like, they fell off way too much yesterday, so 11 points. Like, we need to see top 3s coming out from this team.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And likewise for teams like TJB, etc., and things like that. 9 eliminations going their way, given these circles. Not too bad at all, but again, a little bit too little, too late for these kinds of moments if you're wanting to be aiming for the very, very top.
All right, well, go ahead, Max.
Now, I was going to say, Enigma Galaxy, though, like, their push from, like, they were one of the bottom teams after day 1. Like, their push into top 5 is absolutely insane. So they get a few more games like this. Like, After Party Showdown, it's in the pocket for them.
Yeah, and it's going to be extremely fun. If you guys haven't checked out how the format will work, well, obviously you're going to find out in less than a week's time, but it's going to be all about certain achievements you are able to pull off within the actual match. But also, let's be fair, back-to-back. Another team that didn't have a good first 2 days. They got chicken dinner earlier on, another 16 points. They're moving up the leaderboards. Realistically, top 5 should be what, Max?
Top 5.
I know you don't like to say this word, but...
Impossible.
Yeah. But they can still win a ton of extra money, and more importantly, get a lot of extra experience. We need to keep in mind, yes, they have been a team who have lived up to their name, won back-to-back over in PMPL NA, but right now, if they want to compete on a global scale in PMGC, they need to improve. But one team who has improved from yesterday is going to be Vampire Esports. Let's take a look at how they've done today up against how they did in day 1, just to kind of see if they're rising up towards what they've done before. And actually, they're kind of surpassing it in damage alone.
And let's see, Link, too, like, their fights are very...
Sorry, other way around. My bad. I misread. No, I was right. Yeah, day 3, day 1. Day 3 on the left side, day 1 on the right side.
Yeah, it was going to be hard to surpass average eliminations from day 1, but they're almost there. The fact that they have actually found themselves... Obviously, we had that first game with the 24-point eliminations, etc., and things like that. But these last 2 games especially, absolutely blasting here for Vampire, and very, very respectable indeed.
Yeah, I think especially Mike has been really doing so much for the team, like finding the off angles, closing off some really strong positions in those end game circles. Like, I think Mike is my personal MVP for this team at least, and he's been doing a lot to get success for the team.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, keep in mind, right, there's still a race to MVP. We know Action was leading, Lightning was behind him.
He could be catching up now.
Forresty's going down, so there's a chance.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe we actually take a look in that, look into that a little bit later on. But I think what's interesting, right, is this kind of shows, though, like Vampire have been so consistent today. Day 1, if we look back on it, if we really think about it, they weren't amazing. Like, they were amazing. They were consistent through all their matches, right? They had a really big match that set them up nicely. I think that was 39 points. And then they got around like 20-ish points or 20 to 30 points the rest of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they got like a 2nd place later on.
Yeah, that's some all right performances towards the end,
Yeah. But it's great to see this team is able to replicate that performance, because we did have questions in day 2 if this was just a flash in the pan for them.
Yeah, I think like the sort of teams on the first day, struggling to have a good first performance. Like, oh, we can afford a break day, like a little vacation. and they just chilled with the boys. Second day was chill.
Again, when it comes to playing for position, sometimes you get days where you can't find that position, you can't find your next checkpoint on where you want to go for the next circle, etc. The last 2 games, they've been able to constantly find them, and as I say, I think that they're really forward thinking in these games,
especially on bad circles, right?
And it converts. It converts into extra eliminations as you move from these checkpoints. Think about that first, elimination second, the eliminations come to them.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you get in like a very good position, especially when you have like this many more players in the lobby, 8 more players than your usual lobby, you can turn it out in like an absolute elimination fest, and that's been working out really heavily in favor of the team.
Well, we've been talking about, the nice research out of Vampire from day 1 to day 3, but what about the fall from Reagan's Gaming? Let's actually take a look at how they've done today against yesterday. I mean, this team was out of the top page, and they have not really been able to catch up here. Average damage a game at 428. I mean, the thing is, realistically, these numbers will make sense just because they've been knocked out at almost every match so early.
I mean, that's a full-on grace right now, having that 8, almost like above 8 average elimination per game, and now just above 1. I mean, I think the race for first place for RSG maybe is over the top. No, they can still make it into a very good position, get some extra prize pool. Like, RSG can make it up there, but first place, I think they are slowly but surely falling out of relevancy.
They've bled out in a lot of these games. It's like we've seen them lose 1 or 2 early, and then from there, from there, how do you actually recover from that situation? You're constantly going to be hounded. If anybody gets whiff of the fact that you are not fought alive in, say, a compound, for example, they'll push hard onto that because they know that you don't have the manpower capability of being able to shut them down. So once those early deaths happen here, one of those early eliminations happen, is difficult to recover.
And the main issue is that we see them like get those 0-point games, right? And you're seeing like your Enigma Galaxies, you're seeing your Stalwart continuously getting those points in. Like, they are not only not winning any points, they're falling behind the competition at a pretty steady pace. So they need to get themselves back in action here on these last 2 games.
Yeah, and gentlemen, we've been talking obviously about the overall rankings. We're going to look at in a second. Not after, well, after I actually give a thank you to MasterCard and Saudi Bank as well for being supporters and sponsors here of this event, making G8 happen for all of us around there. Not only in PUBG Mobile, but of course the other titles we've had in the previous weeks. But we can see here 2 minutes and 50 seconds left until we get into the next match, our 5th match, 2 left to go. But let's tune in with the overall standings one more time today. And look at this lead, 21 points, and Stalwart have fallen from 1st to 3rd.
Okay, so if Vampire get another good game, I think it's safe to assume that first place is pretty much almost locked down. So you need to see a big comeback from Falcons or Stalwart. Otherwise, first place is pretty much could be decided now.
But that's the exciting thing about it, is that we know that Falcons and Stalwart
they
can make up the distance, which is very awesome to see. But the fact that they have 100 eliminations off the back of also being themselves proclaiming that they are a position-first team, that's extreme and kind of scary.
Yeah, exactly. It just comes, like, the eliminations come on their own. If you have a strong position in a lobby with 18 teams, they just keep getting in that spot, the eliminations come on their own.
But Jason, RSG out of top 5, that's a huge blow to them.
It's a massive blow, and the thing is, it makes it maybe realistic for teams like Morph. I mean, Damwon Kia, yes, they are 10 points ahead of RSG, and they're 15 plus 9, 24 points ahead of Morph. There is a very realistic chance that they could be caught on. But then again, I feel like maybe at this point, Damwon Kia are just like, let's just play for top 5. Let's play safe. Let's not do anything too crazy.
Did you like
I think Falcon's done that. Yeah, what?
I got Jason to do a little bit of analysis.
There you go. I mean, I can do a little analysis. Just every once in a while I can do it. But gentlemen, I mean, we have 2 matches left, right? I mean, Denzi Bank Wildcats, they technically have a chance to get there as well, but things are getting hyped. Things are getting interesting. I'm not sure if you just heard all the teams screaming, but we have a minute left to go here, so we got to bring our commentators in so we can finally get into our 5th match. I cannot believe we're only 2 matches left until we have our winner of PMWI and the $500,000. And also, finding out what teams will be playing in the After Party Showdown, which is going to be hype as hell, coming up next week, starting on Thursday at the exact same time we've been starting throughout these last 3 days. But John on Blank, why don't you take us into our penultimate match of the day and the event?
Ooh, and the event, Blank. It's all coming down to the wire. It's so close at the top. You love to see these little leapfrogs happening. It's all to play for.
Yeah, he doubled up there right at the end, but we are heading right over into Miramar right now. And this is where we're going to see the playing path. You can't see it yet, so I'm not going to spoil it for any of you, because unlike yesterday, today is a special day where we will be finding out exactly who's going to take that first place prize home, as well as the top 5 who will go through for the after-party showdown. You know, sharing some spots with some very prolific teams. Vampire Esports, though, 190 points. Like the guys said, that is a very, very big lead. 21 points above Team Falcons. And I think one important thing that Des was talking about was that, you know, Team Falcons, Stalwart Esports, both these teams have the ability to catch Vampire Esports up at that 190 point mark.
Yeah, it's still a closable gap, right? It's still very much something that can change on a dime. Plane path starting to come through on Miramar, as Jason said, the penultimate match of the day. The plane path from Valle de Mar all the way up to El Azahar. That rhymes. That's nice. I like it.
Yeah, you like that a lot. What I like a lot is when we get this PMWI watch together, so you can complete those daily missions to earn points, and once enough points are accumulated, top of the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in the event solo or team up with other players. Both is totally fine. And of course, if you team up, it could be a little bit easier to get those rewards.
And just before we head right into game proper, there is a PMWI gunskin and outfit, and that sale period is from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August as well. 50% off PMWI packs, and you get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And from tomorrow, the 14th of August, until the 15th of September, so next month, there will be 16% off PMWI packs, where you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And as we head into our final games of the day, we cannot forget the PMWI Champions Celebration from the 4th of August through to the 13th, all using the region of the top 3 teams. Obviously, you know exactly who they are right now. We'll have the chance to win a prize, and it's a maximum of 1 award per user. So that includes Saudi Arabia, as well as Mongolia, and also right at the top, Thailand.
Yeah, looking to try and pop those rewards into those regions with a maximum of 1 per user. And of course, not only can you get rewards that way, but if you're contributing towards our peak concurrent viewers, if we reach 100 million live viewers watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate with a maximum of 1 award per user.
And you want to do that? You want to head into the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together event every day from the 11th of August for more information. Now, heading right into it, Seoul already losing 1 player right off the bat. It's Box Gaming here in Picardo, and these 2 teams are at it again. They just will not let up. Bensu hits the floor. Goblin also will take a tumble. It's back and forth here, John.
1 for 1 right now, but another knock found swiftly over onto Hector. It's looking Box right now. Team Seoul with 2 players, both close to each other, but their teammates are getting flushed out. Not so for the Box Gaming squad. Akshat and Omega, last 2 standing now. As it looks like they are going to get these reses for Box as well.
So 2v2, unfortunately, the 2 players from Seoul have been knocked and also eliminated. So no chance of getting those 2 guys back up again. But Box will be able to get up to a full squad. Nice little split from these 2 teams to make this one happen. Vampire Esports over towards Minas Generales at the moment, just to the north of Morph. Morph with kind of a chance, I'll say kind of a chance of making it to that top 5. It is Omega, who's trying to do the do-si-do with these 2 players. Can't quite make it happen.
Giving them the fancy feet, finds 1, gets the reload, but goes for the weapon swap in a second. It's Omega for Team Seoul, finds 2 on Box, and Akshat now with a chance to get some healing done as well. They are going to try and take the fight to Box and Trisme.
I take it back with a pirouette and a waltz there. It will be a quick comeback from Team Seoul there. Beautiful stuff. And this will see them up to a 2v2 in a scenario that we did not expect to happen. Now, Trisme, nade in hand, has a pretty good idea of where these players are, but Akshat immediately moves out the way. Wiser in this situation.
Picardo right now bathed in bullets. Casings everywhere, blankets, gone back and forth. Losing 2 players early. When you're in this central position, really far from ideal for both of these teams. It's not what you want to see, especially if you're looking to just try and put as many points on the board as you can. Try and ladder up to those higher earning placements on the overall tables.
Extremely important. Just getting those points right now, every little bit counts, especially if you're trying to hold on to those top 5 spots currently claimed by Vampire, Stalwart, Falcons, Damwon Kia, as well as Enigma Galaxy, who are all set right now to make it into the after-party showdown. There will be an extra $1 million on the line, including the $2 million from the PMWI event itself. So lots of money to be had here in the PMWI, as well as the after-party showdown, which will be a little bit more fun. We got a load of prizes there, but you'll find out more about that on Thursday. I'm sure Jason Kaplan will be very happy to fill you in on all the details when it comes to them. But right now, it's all about these final moments of the PMWI. So many regions facing off.
For Glory to try and claim that top spot at the moment. It's the Thai team on the top. Vampire Esports, who started off the tournament marvelously strong. The 24 elimination game. As James said on the desk, we didn't think they were going to be able to get back up to that average, that day 1 average eliminations, but they've nearly done it so far today. Another good performance would tip them over that edge and plunge them into the precipice of success, which is not a metaphor used often, but I feel it fits here.
That's fair enough. Well, I mean, you know, it was very much the night on day 1. The sun apparently came up day 2 and Vampire withered away, but as nightfall once again, here in day 3, it's time for Vampires to reign supreme. See exactly what they can get done, but you know, there is still those 2 games and 21 points. It may put you just ahead of teams, but at this point in the tournament, it is miles ahead and can look quite daunting. But Falcons and Stalwart, we know these are 2 teams. Daunting is just another word in the vocabulary to them. They'll make it happen regardless or not.
Not too many teams outside of Picardo struggling right now. Fairly disparate in positioning. No one really clashing just yet. But RSG, TJB, Vivo Keyed from the north side, all starting to eke their way more central. You can see Morph there as well on your screens on the right-hand side, on the north end of Los Leones, potentially looking for a central position as well.
Morph having, you know, a slow comeback from day 1 and making it onto the first page of the leaderboard today is actually somewhat of an achievement in my opinion. You know, starting day 1 in a firm 18th place, start crawling their way back up to here. Just talking to the coach of that team, and you know, it's an 18-hour flight, so I mean, I was only on a 6-hour flight, and that was rough to say the least. But
it got delayed.
It did get delayed. That is correct. But regardless, you know, to come here, compete the highest level, that's what you got to do as a player. And really, Morphers made it happen. And you've got to be proud of the Indonesian team, especially if you are part of their region. Be able to crawl back up, climb back up at this point, you know, with the head held high. Again, though, there is still a chance for this team to get into top 5. And that's what we love about the PMWI, is that right now it is so scary for a lot of these teams at the top, because at any moment you can be shunted out of the top 5.
I mean, the gap between 1st and 5th right now is fairly significant, sitting at 54, I believe, between the 2, if my maths is correct. As they say, never do maths live on air. But that gap, whilst it seems daunting right now, it just requires the team at the top, currently Vampire Esports, to have a bad game, and that gap can close very quickly if you're one of those teams that can have a very, very good game, as all of these top 5 teams are. But the gap between 5th and 6th place, it's so much closer. The laddering up between 3rd and pretty much 7th is really still all to play for.
Look at the maps, new circle coming your way very, very shortly. Right now, Stalwart up towards San Martin. Action still claiming the top spot with 35 eliminations. But check that out. Stoned actually made his way onto this leaderboard again with 31 eliminations. And we thought Lightning got onto that page very, very quickly. But it looks like Stoned is very hesitant to let that disappear. And with the back-to-back chicken dinners also just behind Action in terms of damage, you know, that could be a shake-up towards the MVP list, to be honest with you, let alone just Vampire Esports' current point totals. Circle heads over towards the eastern side, towards Labadita. We've seen this circle previously in the tournament before. Very rough to play. Graveyard may as well be a literal term for the position on the map, considering there is very, very barren, and that is where so many people do get buried on this map, because it's just very, very difficult to get through that small little funnel. There's so many teams come into that area, they crunch together, end up fighting one another. So a lot of these teams just looking for a good position on the map, and there's still opportunity for this to be an urban ending down towards Los Leones.
Absolutely. On a couple of hard shifts, absolutely. It would prove to be pretty tricky. Could also be an urban ending in Picado, which is still very much in the zone, right? So we've got a lot of different potential opportunities. You talked about Graveyard being a literal term at the moment. Falcons sat in that area, right? Do you think they're going to be able to make it out of this? They have a lot of time to play with, but if they don't take that opportunity, potentially could prove troublesome.
It's the question of where this next circle goes, right? If we get really packed into that area, then yeah, things start to get a little bit more difficult for Falcons. But right now, they're using high ground to their advantage. As you can see right there, as I say it, there's your snipe down. Beautiful headshot comes through to take the knock. So, you know, this is the high ground advantage you get to play on this little ridge line. But yeah, later on in the game, if we head up here, then it becomes tough. Goodness me, Xiao just sending it back. Killswitch has to duck back out of the window, lest he lose his head.
A couple of headshots found there. You can see the level 2 helmet took a lot of damage. Level 3 vest, though, so luckily those weren't body shots. Otherwise, that would have damaged that lovely, pristine 3-tick vest. You love to see those. Fortunately, Daku not so lucky. Only the one.
Just needs to plant his feet on the ceiling, apparently, and have his head out of view underneath the window and his vest on show. That's going to keep him very, very safe.
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, on the
yeah. If gravity didn't exist, of course.
Yeah, in a gravityless vacuum, then yeah, absolutely. Assuming he's a point.
Oh, look at that FLC for the Falcons. Goodness me, the turnout has been absolutely incredible, John. You love to see it. Falcons on screen right now, giving them some love. Oh dear me, Damar, don't do that. That's very mean to your fellow player. Virtual Gaming Squad taking some knocks over from Aton Esports. They're down towards the southeast side, trying to make their way through Los Leones, but it's the Wildcats who really hold a very good position up towards the north side of Los Leones to hold out both Aton as well as Virtual Gaming Squad and hopefully pick up a couple of points here.
The crowd happy with their performance there, as they should be. Next circle soon to come on
to everyone else.
Yeah. Well done us. Well done us.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Enigma Galaxy slow. Well, maybe not slow, but they are last to come in from the blue on that western side right now. Next circle just about to pop. We were talking about where those hard shifts could fall, how problematic that could be depending on where it goes. And it's north. Picado on the south side of it, that graveyard position on the east.
So for Stalwart, this is actually fairly decent. Picado still in the picture, and with both those teams that originally dropped in Picado and Box as well as Seoul, you know, these two teams, they are not looking too healthy coming into these circles towards the end. So it does mean that Picado can be taken up residence by another team should they want to drop into here nice and quick. And, you know, Damwon here, we've known them for flying into circles. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Looks like they're heading towards the foothills of Picado, towards that northern side. Damar tries to get across. Naoto taking some pot shots with the Mini 14, but this guy, he's got the moves in the vehicle. He's going to do a full flip over the top. Can he land it? Doesn't need to. Drops out, bends the knees. That's suspension.
You're right. That is suspension. Goodness me. Bouncy knees. Do you think? He popped a tiny little bend in the knee.
Yeah.
Kept it in. Springs for thighs, that's what they call him. Goodness me. Lasers for eyes, though. As they do sit now, one of the players from Vivo keyed up the hill.
That is the second headshot of the game coming through from Never Alone. Goodness me. Okay. Give this guy a sniper and give him some clear skies, and he'll find as many players as you need here. Falcons are...
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Falcons here to take names and heads, apparently.
RSG in a little bit of a scuffle. Not too much right now, but There's a team just in front of them that they're going to have to be worried about. Morph, I believe, that's just over the hill. As we get a little replay, as Demar sends it on up and over. We're getting the suspended knees there. Stays alive. Very, very good. But back-to-back, engaging with Nigma Galaxy and not having the best of time of it right now. Nigma Galaxy have been absolutely on a tear today so far, Blank. Their day one performance would not have led us to believe that this is the same team.
Well, does go low, but back-to-back, taking a fair amount of shots from Freak here. With the M4, that vehicle is not going any longer there. They'll have to take it on foot now, but still there are shots ringing out towards them.
52 slinking their way across the hillsides. RSG trying to have some oversight. But the ridge line has been spotted. Vaz under pressure from Lightning, one of our MVP candidates, and taking out the vehicle. That's going to do the job. Boom goes the dynamite. Vaz takes a knee.
Very good tracking on this player, honestly. And he's going to go for another here.
Ooh, Lightning takes a lot of damage, but they get a second knock on these vehicles. I don't know what's going on, but 52 Esports lose 2 out in the open.
Daku here looks at the buggy and just doesn't know whether it's his savior, or in this case, it is a curse. Every single vehicle that 52 Esports has sent through, RSG have torn apart. Honestly, it is just not looking good for them. Next circle pops down towards Picardo. More on the roadside, but it's Virtual Gaming Squad dropping in on down one Kia. They look like they didn't expect this, but Yafos is already down. Junie, nade in hand.
On that forefront, trying to get a little angle there, and we'll be able to get a flush onto Yafos. VGS not having the greatest time. Never alone up in the elimination feed again, by the way. This guy's a madman with this sniper, looking for the eagle eye prize there, but seeing what they can get done in terms of eliminations first. Down one Gaming, they've got Team Soul. Remember, they are down to 2 from earlier engagements on their south side. Box, similarly, hampered. They are down to 1 now as 52 finally get eliminated. Down one Kia, not looking to go for this full push just yet.
I don't need to go for it. They are all the way on this southwest edge. Sung does get knocked by Team Soul, or at least the remnants of them, over towards Picardo. Looks like Akshat does have eyes on from that area.
Sung should be resable though. They should be able to get that one back up, hopefully so. Stalwart under fire, action close to Vivo Keed. He took a knock earlier from the barrel of Never Alone. But now they're engaged with one of our top fraggers in the tournament. Action trying to get some intel. Pika swings out wide. Might be able to get this player on the wall. Looking for that engagement. Action looks good, and there's the 1-2 punch from Stalwart. Nice coordination coming through on that aggression. The oversight from Adrian, not going to happen there. Not going to work for them. Diego takes a lot of damage from Pika. This is coordination from Stalwart. This is why they are one of the top teams in this tournament.
Really well done so far. Vivo Keed, not even able to put a dent into them. Stalwart is holding it down up towards that San Martin. Move down just a little bit along the ridge side to the power grid. Then on to the east, taking up residence inside this compound. Very difficult to see out, and there's a lot of different angles that Stalwart can take from this area. It just gives them time to, you know, keep a little bit of a timer on this for themselves. They can start to make their move later. It's what they usually do. Right now, this is just an area to keep it calm. Falcon, though, double nade from Powerful onto USG. It looks like Team Falcons, they are not done yet.
No, they are just going to keep on going. 2 elimination points now found. Although that's probably not the story that you tell having watched this game. It feels like they've had much more of an impact so far. RSG with the highest elimination count at the moment, bar Team Soul, who have had 4, but RSG, all 4 of them alive as well. Vivo Keed. Okay, I thought they were a little bit suffering here, but it seems like Stalwart have had a taste of their own medicine. Adrian from the top rope sends it in. Splashdown.
Oh my days. Circle.
Wow.
On top of Falcons now. This is a really big chance for them, but there is another team inside of this circle just to the east of them. It is Vampire Esports looking to sweep the eastern side, but they take a knock. Never alone, introducing the world to air conditioning, one hole in a head at a time.
Goodness me, that man is absolutely insane with this M24. Do you not want to get it in sight lines? And on Miramar, it's the perfect place to do it, right? A lot of open ground.
I am in disbelief. I don't think I've seen this many headshots with a sniper ever. Now Wildcats are coming in. Take down a player from Vampire Esports. These guys are now just down to 2 players. This really opens things up now for Falcon. Vampire Esports, they need to look for themselves for an end game finish. Top 5, top 4 would be ideal. This is where they need to see themselves at. But with 2 players, it's a question of how long can they live here. 15 teams alive, 20 minutes. It's only going to get harder for a lot of these teams.
At the start of the game, they had 21-point buffer to play with, right, Blank? So Vampire Esports, they need consistency right now. 10 points a game should be enough to see them through, barring Team Falcons popping off, barring Stalwart having absolutely stonker of a game, but it's still very much up for grabs. This team, Enigma Galaxy and Down One Gaming close by. The nade bobbles around, it comes back. How on earth do you manage that?
I don't know how he lives through that one, but somehow he does. Vampire Esports taken down to just 1 player now. Lord trying to send some nades over the top. Unfortunately, Morph is now out in 13th place. That climb is ended here. The Wildcats still going, though. Just with Boran. I was talking to the Turkish casters earlier. Sinan telling me that, you know, Boran on those final days, in those final matches, that's where he really starts to pop off.
Enigma Galaxy take a knock over towards Ralph. And Lord as well, jousting up the hill. TJB entering the fray. A 3-way fight right now over on the western edge. Lin spotted. Yeah, you're not going to win that one. Lord able to do the work. Enigma Galaxy play up that hill, take down TJB, and now they can focus their aggression over towards Damwon. But they have taken a lot of damage in the meantime, and Damwon Kia are not going to let it slide.
They're continuing to hold them back. They're right outside the blue, but the blue is doing the majority of the work. Great Molotovs from Damwon Kia will take out the remainder of the players, taking them to 5 eliminations here. Great stuff here from Damwon Kia.
Enigma Galaxy go down, and Damwon Kia, great news for them as well, because they can start to challenge for those top spots. Regan, RGS, Regan's Gaming at the moment suffering. If they go down here, they might lose out on their chance to push back into the top 5.
Boran is just not letting up for the Wildcats. 3 players still in this. Schweppes all in his lonesome for Vampire Esports. He is starting to ladder up, though. 7 teams remain, 17 players still in this. Falcons head-to-head here with Stalwarts. Unfortunately, it's Stalwart with Damwon Gaming. Damwon Kia, sorry, coming in from the behind.
The nades will find their way in towards Store. I have no doubt. Cielo for Vivo Keed could prove to be a little tricksy, if he so chooses, but finding the time might be a better answer. A double nade comes through. Damar able to open things up, but in the meantime, Damwon Kia have descended away from this engagement. They know this next circle is better for them if they can get there.
Another nade comes over the top, takes down the 2 players that were knocked there. Now Falcons, they're looking to take themselves somewhere safer. They dealt with Vivo Keed. They've sent Stalwart packing. And now it's time to head on over the road. This is where it gets difficult, but Powerful's already made his way across, but there's still 1 player remaining from Vivo Keed. It's Cielo.
And that's what we're talking about. Could be tricksy. Vivo Keed still in the fight. 7 teams remain with Vampire Esports on #1 spot right now, also with a lone survivor. How far can Team Falcons push to try and catch up to that gap? 3 players remain. Wildcats with 3. Damwon Kia suffering. 2 players down. Only the 1 just Junie up, and that's not long for this one. Damwon Kia eliminated. 4 teams remain now. Stalwart, Falcons, Vampire, all still in this.
Damwon Kia crash and burn on the side of the road. So a nice couple of shots coming through from top. You can never count this guy out from Stalwart. Falcons, though, they did make their way across. Now the Wildcats It's here, the Turkish team looking to make up some of the points right at the final hurdle.
20 points right now sat behind the leaders. Falcons, they're going to need, well, if they get a chicken dinner, they'll be able to get 15 points from that. So they need 5 more points to draw level. And at the moment, there's not that much in the lobby. So Falcons right now cannot jump up and challenge for the first spot, but they can put themselves right at the door of victory for the final game if they take this one home.
Can definitely go neck and neck, but ooh, top here, taking bullets from Wildcats. He really just wants to ruin the days of Falcons at the moment. He wants to be the one and his team just behind Vampire Esports, and it is just neck and neck between these 3 teams right now, but Top's find himself a safe position at the moment.
Wildcats, I mean, we haven't talked about them a whole lot, but there is a possibility that they could jump up towards that top 5 position with Stalwart going down. If they can take out Falcons, they could potentially be booking themselves an invite towards that after party next week as well.
They've got the tickets in the basket. Now it's time to go to the checkout. Well, that won't come till their angle. We'll see if they can get there first. Yusuf, though, just crouched down, waiting, biding his time, circle, dead center. Neither of these teams want to make the first move. Never Alone has been absolutely unbelievable this match. 4 headshots so far with the sniper in hand. Powerful drops a nade over.
If you can get that opening, oh, that's perfect. Boran goes down. He was their point man as well. If Never Alone can find a snipe, it's going to bring them into a 1 versus 3, but they push in instead. Rifles in hand. UMP to lead the charge. M4 to back it up. Powerful. Sprays down Defoe. And the Falcons ride strong across the top. They want this so badly here in Riyadh that they are going to push all the way back towards Lux. 1 versus 3. The Falcons challenging for these top spots. They want to take this one home, and they will do so. A chicken dinner in the penultimate game. 27 points on the game.
This is going to send them sky high over towards those leaderboards. What a fantastic way to finish their Miramar as well. Wonderful stuff from the Falcons. This is going to be exactly what they needed to get into that top spot, like you said, John. Honestly, where we're at right now is going to be one of those positions where Vampire Esports are really going to have to try so hard to get just past Falcons, who are staying neck and neck with them.
And do not count Stalwart out just yet as well, Blank. They were in that game in 3rd place, right?
Yeah.
They came all the way in late, and that was phenomenal for them to be able to jump on up.
Yeah, I just cannot believe what we're seeing here today, because 1 more game left right now. I just don't believe that there are 2 teams at the top that are just so neck and neck at the moment. I can't wait to see how our angle turns out.
And the race for the top 5 as well. It is all heating up, and it is right to the last game. Do not go anywhere. We'll go to a short break. We'll be back soon with the desk.
Greatness is in an instinct. A mind sharpened with attuned senses. Awakened by what we're known for. But legacies are meant to be left behind. Why play to your limits when you can break them? Hear only victory. Forget what you know. Unleash what's next.
Welcome back, everyone, to PMWI 2022. We did get to see Falcons take home a victory, get themselves one step closer to that $500,000 prize. Well, speaking of prizes, you guys at home still have prizes you can win by changing your profile picture when it comes to your social media platforms to the team you are supporting and making sure to comment over on the official social media channels. Make sure you guys check that out. Also, make sure to check out Savvy Gaming Group as they've been able to help support and put this event on for us. A big thank you to them to make sure that we can make this possible for all the players, for all the talent, and of course for all of you viewers over at home. But ladies and gentlemen, let's actually jump into our STC match rankings to see how many points Falcons did get, and then obviously get eventually into the point of seeing have they been able to take first place away. We're going to find out in just a few moments here, but 27 points is massive.
It's going to be super close. It is going to be, wow, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll stop. But yeah, for Team Falcons here, the circles were wild in this game. Constant hard shifts. Yeah, these past two games especially, so many hard shifts. So Falcons able to capitalize on that. And then they had a crate drop on them, but I can understand all the concerns that they had about those high ground positions overlooking the roads. You have to deal with all of those teams before you then come back to the circle. So that in itself causes so many trials. It's like a walk into a fire. It's a gauntlet.
Even if you don't like eliminate the entire squad, if you just reduce the numbers and regroup on the other side of the road, you have a very clear chance of denying that win away from the Wildcats, which is exactly what they did. 27 points, that's huge. And I'm not gonna lie, you have some tournaments that become a little bit boring towards the end because you know which team is going to be taking the trophy, which team is going to be taking that first place. Not here. Like we have no idea who's going to take it home here.
I think it might be a 3 or 4 point difference up at the top. Something like that.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Well, you know what, gentlemen? We're going to be getting to that in just a few seconds. We're trying to rush through here because you can see 3 minutes and 50 seconds until we get into our final match of the event. But really quickly, big thank you to Aramco as well for supporting this event for G8. You guys at home, many things for you to win. Not $500,000, but you can win some more prizes if you post your favorite memes and make sure to tag the official channels as well. I would love to see some memes at Max. I don't know if Stalwart Esports can actually win because they had a great meme of telling you to get away.
That's true.
From talking about
John had to hold me back.
Yeah, he did have to hold you back. We'll see if Stalwart Esports can come back here into the final match. But here is our highlights, our Sony highlights here from this last match. Yeah. Honestly, this was, you know, Falcons, the zone starting up on top of them. It was perfect. It was exactly what they needed to get this big game under their belts. But obviously, if everything goes your way, that's great, but you have to be able to capitalize off of it.
There were moments at the start of today where I thought Falcons were playing a little bit defensive, a little bit almost scared to a certain degree to try and hold on to the lead that they initially had out of day 2. Right. However, in these last couple of games, not the case. They're coming out blasting. I think they look more controlled in some of these last games compared to the start of the day, and it bodes well for them maybe grabbing that championship.
I really don't think the scared team would have done what they just did in that game. Like, we need to clear all of the western side, get rid of all the teams that are on that high ground position. Like, if they were playing scared, they would have never done that 100%. But, man, you said it was like 2-3 points. 2-point difference between first and second right now. Team Falcons hot on their heel, but don't want to forget about Stalwart. There's still a chance they can contest that.
I mean, well, let's focus on Falcons really quickly. They won match 5 on day 1. They won match 6 on day 2. They've now won match 5 on day 3. They have the home crowd behind them. They have the final match coming up here. They already have the cheers. The offline buff must be real. 2 points is very doable. But the thing is, to me, Klaus, Vampire Falcons have to play, in my head, almost a little bit differently to avoid as many fights as possible because you don't want to be that team between the two to go out first.
Try stay stable. And again, you know, I think both teams are very capable of playing that kind of style that you're alluding to here. But I'm going to go, you know what, Jason? I'm going to go with it. I think it's Team Falcons time. I think, considering they've got the crowd behind them, a win on home turf, it might be happening.
You've been supporting them since day 1, Coloris. I think like they're an amazing team.
An excellent team.
Okay, I'm going to cut you guys off here really quickly. I apologize because you still need to focus on top 5, right? Dennis Bank Wildcats, they are within 13 points of Digba Galaxy, so another team.
In the previous game.
Exactly. Yeah. Another team that cannot afford to go out early. RSG as well, who have fallen out of top 5. It is getting so tense in here.
I can imagine if Ningma Galaxy can qualify in top 5 with Falcons for the after party and the R8 joining up there, like the crowd is going to go wild. 3 local teams playing in a 12-team event on local home turf, like that is insane. Like the domination from the region is absolutely huge.
Look at Vampires here getting ready, getting underway. They know they have the game currently in their hands. $500,000 in their pocket if they can hold on to this lead. But our commentators are going to have to come in here, and hopefully they're hyped up because I'm hyped up. We're seconds away from our final match here of the PUBG Mobile World Invitational 2022. First place $500,000, top 5 advance into the after party showdown next week. John Allen and Blank, take us away.
One more ride, once more into the breach. In 30 seconds, we're going to be taking to the skies over Erangel for the final time here at the PMWI to crown our champions. It is all coming down to this 2-point difference between Vampire Esports and Team Falcons, and that 5th place chase still on the cards.
It is real scary at the moment. RSG, 137 points. Enigma Galaxy, 148. Definitely possible if Enigma Galaxy has a bad game here for Regans to get back into that top 5. But it's the Denny's Bank Wildcats who have been really pumping stuff out in that last game to try and push into that top 5. For the Turkish team, you know, this would be absolutely monumental for them. But Stalwart, 178, 20 points exactly behind Vampire Esports. We cannot count them out yet. From day to day, they have been our most consistent team.
Certainly have. One more chance to prove that consistency here as the plane path comes on in for the last time. From Novo up to Stel, but this time around it's a little east leaning. So Gatka, Hospital, Georgia Pole, a little bit late drop.
Another Noya though. Instant drop there for Stalwart. They can get looted and booted and ready to go. Looking at our leaderboards at the moment, Vampire Esports still fielding Stone there with 31 eliminations, Lightning 32, but it's still Action, who really has been man of action for our tournament so far, getting some absolutely wild stuff done. Wildcats also will be able to get themselves onto North Sosnovka almost immediately, even maybe down towards military base, and Vampire Esports will have to drop very, very long here with this eastern plane path over towards Quarry, so that does make things difficult for them. I think he got all those headshots last match.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. That was quite impressive. Action just about holding on to the knock record, 31 to 30 to 30 on our leaderboard right now. The MVP race must be absolutely spiced out the wazoo right now, Blank.
Honestly, we've had so many good individual players from practically all of these teams that it is going to be a weird one to check it out. Oh, dear me.
Ooh.
This is one of the circles where maybe teams will have to change their drops. And in the very final match of the PMWI, we are seeing an absolute curveball being thrown at us.
Wow, what a shift on an eastern plane as well. This is really going to clump those teams up to that eastern side, right? Not a lot of teams are going to want to go all the way out to Georgia Pole, so that's TJB who could potentially be hit here on a difficult position for themselves. You can see they are on that north side and going to try, well, we can see that they are on that north side, still trying to go for that sort of area, but do they wrap back, try and go somewhere else?
It's the difficulty, right? I mean, they want to get looted there straight away, but it's a struggle just with the way the circle's gone. But this is going to be a very interesting ending to our tournament. Diego, nothing but a pistol in hand. And TJB have got looted up just a little bit faster.
Yeah, even that shotty, that UMP, there's no way you could stand up to that with a pistol against 2. I mean, miracle shots would be necessary, but it's just not going to happen. Nice high nade there to scarce yellow, if nothing else. As Lin gets the spray down. Okay. There is potential here with that shotgun in hand to shut down a stairway push. With the K9 for Lin ready to bark.
Just want to leave him alone here. Don't even bother with it. Real struggle now for Vivo, Keed, TJB, but these are not the teams in the story that we are telling today between Falcons, Stalwart, as well as Vampire Esports. I've really stamped a place in our memories, and hopefully yours too.
Certainly have. Certainly mine. This will be an event to remember for sure. And if you've been watching... Ooh. Okay, hang on a minute. There we go. That was the bark I was talking about. It's ready. Woof, woof.
Pink skirt with Lin, heads up top side. Now there's one last player. K9 Ooh. Tries to send it in there, like you said. Cannot close the jaws around the target. I sent some UMP shots down there.
If you've been following these storylines, if you've been watching TJB over these last couple of days. Following that race for the top spot, then of course you have been watching with us and trying to earn those daily missions to earn points. Once you earn enough points, once you've accumulated those, you can tap on the rewards icon in-game to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in that event solo or team up with other players. Both ways is absolutely okay, and teaming up could help you get that reward even easier. There's also another reward here for everyone at home. PMWI gunskins and outfits through from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August is 50% off PMWI packs. You get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw the PMWI treasure. Okay, Lynn. It just looks so good on screen.
Yeah, well, if you aren't going to jump in for those sales, and I don't see why you wouldn't, the 14th of August, so tomorrow that starts, until the 15th of September, there will be 16% off PMWI packs where you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And from the 4th of August all the way through to the 13th, which is today, ending soon, all users in the region of the top 3 teams with a chance to win a prize, and that's a maximum of 1 award per user. And, you know, talking about getting things done and celebrating, you know, if you tune into the PMWI live stream and we reach 100 million live watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate. That is also a maximum of 1 award per user.
So visit the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together area every day from the 11th onwards for more information.
Looking back at the game, we're back on board with Vampire Esports, who have opted to head down towards Quarry and Primorsk. I didn't want to do anything too fancy here, especially in the last game, and honestly, I don't blame them. This is the smart thing to do. Aton Esports down towards Milter Power. A drop that they're very familiar with. Back-to-back, though, move slightly across from Milter, and it's Regans who actually moved down towards that shelter area, you know, just taking up a little bit more room on the southern side and actually coalescing quite quickly here.
TJB did strike out towards that North Georgia position. No teams in very close conflict right now, which is really what we're looking for. Wildcats and Stalwart potentially coming into a scrap, a scramble, a scrabble for bridge control on the eastern bridge from Military Island. No shots just yet ringing out. Scouting being done right now.
You know, Wildcats are actually moving very, very close, like you said, John. Stalwart's just playing it pretty slow. I think they kind of expected this too. With Circle being so much towards the east, this is one of the few times that Wildcats might want to even go for this eastern bridge crossing, and where it really does benefit Stalwart. It also means that it looks like Box is getting directly in position just outside that eastern bridge. They have vehicles. We haven't seen really any bridge camps up until now. Back-to-back tries. Takes some shots over towards Aton Esports, very close together in Milter Power and Milter.
Looking at where this circle is, I mean, you've got to imagine that Milter is going to be a strong position to be holding around in these coming minutes. So getting that claim early could prove to be good, or could prove to be a downfall if a lot of teams decide the same, right? If they decide everybody wants to go in there, everybody wants a piece of that pie, it could be just too much pressure to bear and nobody could come out as a winner-winner chicken dinner from that region. Just have to wait and see, Blank. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of PUBG Mobile.
And we do love PUBG Mobile.
Hell yeah.
100%. Fair few teams out inside of the blue at the moment. Vampire Esports is one we always expect, especially going down towards Primos, Quarry, and Ferry Pier. They are now starting to make their move, and make their move they will have to. It's not one of those games where they can just sit pretty and wait this out and take the first place prize. Flower C looks over towards Yusuf. Not a good start for Falcons, but luckily they do get that player out of dodge. Look how damaged he is. Going into this game with 3 players would have been horrendous, and luckily able to make it out alive. But like I said, you know, Vampire Esports, they cannot sit on their laurels here. Only 2 points behind them is Team Falcons. So they will need to put up some points, or at least Falcons will need to go down early in this game, which I'm sure everyone here in Saudi Arabia does not want.
No, certainly not. And you've got to remember that chase for 5th place spot as well. With Wildcats on 135, facing off against Stalwart on this military island, this is a proving ground for them, right? If they're able to come through, I feel like they would deserve that top 5 spot, but they have to be able to come through. That's a brutal shift, Blank. That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water. This actually is quite good for Stalwart, in fact, because it means that they can wait. They don't have to cross the bridge just yet. They can sit around, chill out, and take this game a little bit more slow, particularly with the circle heading out down towards them. So there's no urgency for them. So they can start to make their move if they want to. DD is absolutely having a right barrel roll of his life over there. Flower C walks on past, well, drives on past, but does take a quick look out in that direction. Vampire Esports, you can see them just starting to make their way over the coast. Box shot up by 2 teams at the moment, back-to-back and Stalwart.
It's far from ideal. Bad for business. Bensu will get that heal off, so stays alive. The Coop left a little bit too far forwards for recouping that one. If you'll pardon the pun. Stalwart going to push in from the back as well, and Top takes some shots over towards Bensu. The firing line is established. Box caught in a mincemeat.
Stalwart would love to pick up a couple of these knocks and a couple of these eliminations as well. In fact, actually taking 1 knock over towards back-to-back and a couple of knocks over towards Box. So this is a great time to come in and try and third party. Top even throwing the nade out the vehicle. Goodness me, the moving grenade. They really want to get this fight started and underway. They want to finish it quick.
If they can take that aggression to back-to-back, who have Morph to worry about in the same time as well, they could prove to be useful. But Donuts, USG, no, sorry, Team Soul have rocked up on the back as well. Goodness me, everybody's moving along the south coast, and Stalwart will take heavy fire. Pika trying to suppress this line as Top takes a tumble.
This is not good right now. Stalwart down to 3 players. They're taking this game very, very fast at the moment, trying to be swift with it because they know they need those eliminations, but it's Soul who comes in right at a very crucial moment for STE. You can see Vampire Esports just behind them right now. Everyone on this coastal line.
Team Soul spraying down the back again. Box. They have just had such a terrible time on this rotation. I think about 4 teams have been shooting at them. And they are just not going to survive this one out. It's an unfortunate end to their last game, although they're not completely out just now. 10th place at the start of this game. They will be struggling to get much more done with just, I believe, Break left for the squad. Yeah, there he is. You can see full HP. Goblin has been spotted. Action. Contending for that MVP spot as well. You've got to remember, there's a bit of money on the line here as well for Action alone. So even if Stalwart don't have the best of performances, if Action can get a couple of limbs on, if he can get a lot of damage in, would be good.
Cheeky peek coming through from Action. This is why he's one of our top fraggers. Vampire Esports, you can see them on the map right now, starting to rotate over the top side of all of these teams. They hear this shots ringing out, and they just want to find a position where they're not going to be taking too much fire. Stop just towards the north side of Milter, waiting for this next circle to pop now. Down 1. Oh my goodness me. This is a circle to end the PMWI on. I mean, it's certainly a circle, that is for sure. Aton Esports, USG, both pretty happy with this. They were backed into a corner, but now it looks like they're backed into the last available space on the map.
Wow. Okay. All right. How much of the circles is currently water right now? I feel like it's a good 50 to 60% at least. This peninsula, far from kind. Can the Wildcats get across as well? Of course, they're still in that race for 5th place.
Vampire Esports, though, down 1 Kia, rocking on past. Stone gets tossed out of the vehicle on the rotate. They lose 1 here. Doubtful that they'll be able to get Stone back up again. We'll see if there's any camaraderie here for the Vampire Esports team to get them back up, back in action as a full 4.
Staying alive, though. They are answering and answering in force. Vampire Esports find Sung, find Junie. And they are absolutely furious that they've lost their teammate there. Onba across the way for down 1 Kia with 2 players remaining now. They're in 4th place and, with good performances from other teams, are at risk of dropping from those top 5 as well.
This is terrifying at the moment. Down 1 Kia Yes, they tried to send it dead central, but they've only made it in with Omba and Forest now. At this point in time, you know, they'd be lucky to get some placement points. You know, it would be such a shame for them to lose the after-party showdown right here, just at these final moments.
The Falcons so far being a little bit quiet, but I imagine that's about to change. 4 Rivals swinging in past the back of Milta Power along that cliffside. 4 Rivals, this push for them specifically is going to be really, really treacherous. In go Box Gaming's last player. Break against Stalwart with 3. It's not going to last long. Action picks up another one in the race for MVP.
He's wanting to hold this. Pika knows that a nade gets thrown out, sees a little underhand as he walks in. Yeah, it was an underhanded play. In this case, both the players from STE, they just wait it out. Falcons right on the northeastern edge. One player on the floor. It's Damar here. Most likely will lose him. Appy searching the smoke for that player. Powerful, takes a bit of damage. Yusuf's on the drive. They're looking for areas to just stay safe in. It's those 2 points they're behind him. Vampire Esports, similarly, not in the best of situations.
It feels like Team Falcons kind of let that one happen and allowed 4 Rivals to descend from their cliffside position and now are potentially on the back foot in their race to try and challenge Vampire Esports for the top spot, for the trophy. The Thailand team taking them on. The circle goes back landward.
And this is good for Vampire Esports. You've got to admit, these guys are like one of those medieval battering rams. They will make it into the circle through rain or sunshine. It does not matter. They were in Quarry, Primorse. Now they're in the dead central of the circle now, despite even the incredible hardships that have kept coming out here. Now Falcons, smokes are down. They've got to get through the gates, get through the fences, and hopefully find their way into this circle. But USG are all looking over towards them.
Donuts USG taking those pot shots, but they can swing around the north side here. Zone 4, so the zone won't be super hardcore right now, but if they get knocked outside too far, they will not be able to get that res. Making it to these buildings, really, really good news, but they're going to really expend a lot of their vehicle utility here.
Enigma Galaxy looking on down towards them. They see Morph off in the distance. Falcons pretty close by, if not a little bit closer to them. Check on the other side. Action. Takes a couple of hits from Team Soul. Pika just sending it in. Has to get immediately out, but does get knocked by back-to-backs Polo. He was looking for the Wizard Tower. Wasn't able to find it. Nevada Cadavra kill switch. Looking to find the rest of the team.
The teams that were the downfall of Box Gaming now duking it out with one another. Back-to-back Stalwart and Soul. All in a line. Still on that western side. Pushing in from Milta. They're on that eastern side. At the moment, Stalwart with the worst of it, crunched in the middle. That's not a sandwich you want to be the filling of.
Well, they are suffering. You know, that's that thick bread that is weighing down on them from both ways.
It's like soda bread. It's some hefty, hefty stuff.
It is difficult to muscle through, but I'm not sure if even Stalwart can make this one happen. Vampire Esports, though, keeping it chilled out after losing one of their players. Still 3 eliminations, despite everything. Quite decent here. Falcons yet to even score 1.
But survival could be all that matters if one of them takes a tumble early on. You do not want to be taking massive risks here with the score so close. You know you just need to outlast the other team. Sure, there's the possibility that Vampire Esports get a 500 million kill game, right?
Yep.
Elimination game. But Team Falcons, do they take that bet? Probably not. Stalwart on 178 at the start of this game, trying to pick up as many points as they can to solidify that 3rd place position that they started the game in. Kill switch, take the nade.
Action with a nade on the top. Sorry, I've just noticed something. The Vampire Esports currently on 4 players. So Stoned actually was able to just army crawl his way all the way across the map and get picked back up again.
I mean, he is a vampire. Maybe he resurrected, you know?
Or just turned into a bat and flew on over. You know, his wing was a bit wounded, but
spooky.
It was absolutely fine for them. Vampire, though, goodness me, no man left behind. not on their winning game.
It is their run. It is their chance. Stalwart eliminated now. So third place up for grabs. If one of those teams sat behind them, down one Kia, only on 2 players, or Enigma Galaxy, potentially a little bit more likely to be able to take that. Could jump up and maybe steal that position away. But with both of those teams still alive, it's the Wildcats chase that is very much at risk.
Right now, they're taking shots over towards back-to-back. Vampire Esports, Sertani was saying that, you know, they're a positionally heavy base team. And honestly, coming from Primos, selecting this specific compound, getting through the players to make it happen as well, and even taking that bold move to move over the top side of the coast, maybe just out of cover whilst they hear the third party going on, to hit this compound in this specific spot, knowing the circle is going to have to come back up towards them. Very, very well done. Very smart. No one can say this is circle look for Vampire Esports at all. Falcons, though, they have got to head through some really rough terrain, and so many teams will be sweeping these areas for players.
52 Esports cracking on with RSG. Seeing the pickup mechanic in action. GZ brings DD. The 2-letter synergy working out at the moment. But, ooh, Daku, if he gets the angle, he's a free broadside. Gets another knock, looks for it. No! Snakes away behind the cover, but Vaz is in with the rest of 52. Sorry, the only remaining player of 52. Looking for the challenge, but can't get it done. RSG staying alive under pressure. This is beautiful to try and strike out. They stay in it, Blank. This chase for 5th is still going.
RSG, it's not the best position in the world, but they're only got Omba and Forest away aside them. So, you know, this really could be a chance for them. Forest currently fighting the world on his lonesome versus the entirety of USG. Falcons, though, TJB versus them. Never alone, hits the deck, takes a fair amount of bullets.
Yusuf, look at a strikeout. No way that you get that teammate back up. Powerful, hot on the heels. The smoke cover is there. TJB looking to cut down this crossing, but their attention is turned as well away to Enigma Galaxy. Yusuf on the floor, spotted. Powerful, could be taken here, and it could be all over for Falcons on their race out in the blue, and they're gone.
And that is it. The Falcons with one hell of a run here in the PMWI. It will end here, but still a fantastic position. And I think it was one of the players from Vampire Esports.
Yeah, who got that final knock, who got that final point. The blue zone claimed the final victim. And Vampire Esports looking set to take this one home, looking to try and stay at that top point. I don't see a way that they can be dethroned here, Blank.
It's going to be so, so difficult. Vampire Esports currently just sending bullets around the map. This shift, though, over towards Team Soul could be their last hurrah here. Trying to make it happen, but it's Stone looking over towards Aton Esports. Trying to hit some of those shots, but they will have to move. It's a hard shift over towards that western side right now. Vampire Esports looking to break that 200-point barrier.
The circle moving out westward, right on top of Team Soul. So now the main challenge on the cards is that race for 5th place. Who can hold on to it? RSG eliminated 6 eliminations and points total, rather, on this game. So can the Wildcats jump on up? Enigma Galaxy, they're only on 2 eliminations with 1 player left as well. Fluketh takes a knock there to the 4 rivals. Well, they've done the work already. Nades towards the back, though, going to do plenty more. 4 rivals, left down to 1. The push comes through. They'll spot it out in the open. Spray's looking good, and they'll take it down. The drive-by for Vampire Esports.
Voki taken out of the mat. Fluketh, though, if we know Vampire Esports, you know, he might just crawl on over. Smokes are placed down. TJB off in the distance here. Perhaps looking for a little bit more. Tink Skirt takes a heavy bit of damage. GK first, just slinking in from the background. Trying to cross his way in. If Vampire Esports can end the day with a chicken dinner, it's a second, a first, a fourth, and then potentially even another chicken dinner on the day. It will be the most incredible bump up of points to finish this tournament for PUBG Mobile at the PMWI. Aton goes down, and Vampire's taking everyone on. Unfortunately, Ravenclaw hits the floor.
Sorted out himself. It's Ravenclaw to take the knee, but back into the smoke. Vampire still with 11 eliminations. They started on Erangel with a strong chicken dinner. It would be such providence to take this one home as well, but they still have to fight through the rest of this lobby. Make that another elimination point to rack on up. Team Seoul, though, still with a central position. Nades back in. Zenetexa is going to go down, and the forces holding them out are going to wane, but it's only Schweppes now left standing for the top squad.
Goes for Rez onto Ravenclaw. Stoned is bleeding out fast. Aton Esports now have different things to worry about. It's back-to-back who just nail them down. Torn apart by bullets. Sent so quickly. It looks like Vampire Esports will get all three players back up again. And back-to-back, they're stuck in the blue.
They are pinned. That Molotov position really, really solid to stop their push over towards the Vampire Esports position. Now they can start to win their way in, but Seoul have 4 players alive. The team from India, who have not had the best of times, would love to close it out here strong.
But it's Vampire Esports. You just cannot take your eyes off at this current moment. Back-to-back, they fought against them on Miramar. Here we are again. Vampire Esports looking to toss some nades over the top. Enigma Galaxy still have Freak in the game. This nade could prove absolutely disastrous. Doesn't hit anyone, luckily. But they might have seen the arc, and Stoned just slowly strafes over. Luckily, he'll live to see another day there.
A little bit of damage from Ravenclaw, but Freak takes a tumble as well. Enigma Galaxy eliminated. Stoned is found as back-to-back ride on in, trying to get that flush, and they will. Polo sends out. Schwepp wants to find the shots, but takes a lot of damage. Vampire Esports might have their run cut down here, but they have done enough. Only Ravenclaw left, hits the deck for a drop shot, and that is the end of their story. But it is now back-to-back, and Seoul going head-to-head. The team from India, 4 players alive with a heavy elimination game. Find the final, but we are going to go over to the stage for the trophy ceremony.
Vampire Esports, congratulations. You are the PUBG Mobile World Invitational Champions here at Gamers8. What an incredible performance you had throughout. Now, I just got to ask you, try and explain the emotions you're feeling right now, you and your team.
ก็บอกว่าตอนนี้รู้สึกยังไงบ้างเกี่ยวกับแบบความรู้สึกตอนนี้ We are mad right now because we are just living in a dream. Because before we come here, we think, okay, we are the champion, but now we get it. So that's why it's a really incredible moment right now for our team. Thank you.
فريق فامباير اي سبورتس قدروا يحصلون على البطوله، حبينا نسالهم السؤال الاول ايش شعورهم بعد الفوز، وكان شعورهم انه احنا الان جالسين نعيش الحلم حقنا، وهذا الشيء اللي احنا كنا نتمناه من اول ما جينا البطوله، والحلم هذا صار واقع واخيرا.
Well, you came into this tournament, incredibly aggressive play style. We already spoke to many of the casters backstage and they agree. Opening the tournament with 24 elimination chicken dinner. Was that the plan the whole time? Just aggressive, aggressive?
ก็คือเขาบอกว่าทีมเราเตรียมตัวมาด้วยการแบบเล่นแบบ aggressive แบบไฟอย่างเดียวเลยตั้งแต่แรกอยู่แล้วใช่ไหมเป็นสไตล์ของเราอยู่แล้วใช่ไหมใช่บอกภาษาไทยไปก่อน
ก็ทีมพวกผมเป็นทีมไฟอยู่แล้วครับผมเป็นทีมที่เล่นขอบวงครับผมไม่ได้ห่วงโพซิชั่นเยอะครับแต่มันก็ขึ้นอยู่กับสถานการณ์หน้าเกมแล้วก็วงแต่ละวงด้วยครับ
So our team in the play style we play like aggressive all the all time because my player have the confidence and the shooting skill. So we are playing with the circle very slow and looking to position to fight. And also we are vampire. We are very hungry the blood.
فريق فامباير اي سبورت كان يتكلم عن طريقه البلاي ستايل حقته وكيف قدروا انه يفوز وكيف كانت خطته داخل اللعبه، يقول تركيزنا احنا نلعب اجريسيف لانه احنا واثقين من انفسنا في ادائنا، زياده على كذا في اي اكثر شيء نركز عليه هو الايم حقنا والشوتنج حقنا دائما يكون في محله، وهذا الشيء اللي احنا ركزنا عليه وهذا الشيء اللي خلانا نفوز البطوله.
Well, I have to ask you one final question before I let you go and before I let you celebrate with the rest of your team. Is there anything that you would like to say to your fans who have been supporting you throughout this entire year and throughout this tournament?
ก็ฝากขอบคุณคนไทยทุกคนนะครับผมที่คอยเชียร์คอยให้กำลังใจตลอดนะครับผมถึงวันที่2พวกผมจะบูดไปแต่วันนี้พวกผมทำเต็มที่แล้วพวกผมได้เป็นแชมป์ของ PMWI แล้วครับผมขอบคุณครับ
They said we are 100% for this tournament and they are glad to become a champion. Also, thank you Saudi Arabia for warming welcome us and also support all the tournament. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for the fan. Hope you enjoy this moment. Thank you.
You guys have been absolutely incredible, but yes, let's reconfirm you are the winners of the lion's share of $2 million. The PMWI Gamers8 trophy is yours. Congratulations, everyone in the Gamers8 arena. Please give it up one more time for Vampire
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You guys have been absolutely incredible. We're going to hand back over to the analyst desk where they can break everything down and round out the tournament.
يعطيكم العافيه اعزائي المشاهدين والحضور، احنا نتوجه الان للاستديو التحليلي نتكلم عن الشيء الرهيب اللي شفناه قبل شوي وكيف قدروا فريق فامباير اي سبورتس انهم ياخذون البطوله بالكامل. على طول مع الاستديو التحليلي.
Good to see Sertania there with this team as well after we had him on the desk over at day 2 to talk to him about how the team has done. You can see what it means to them. They're out of words. They're out of breath. They're so excited to take home that $500,000, not to mention that spot over in the after-party showdown. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to start to break this one down here. The post-show brought to you by VOV. What a run out of Empire Esports. Day 1 looked fantastic. Day 2 looked grim, but they didn't let it get to them. They bounced back hard in day 3.
I mean, they had a game plan, right? In this lobby, they knew exactly what their game plan was. Getting good positions. When we're in a good position, the eliminations, they come on their own. They played to that down to a T, and it clearly worked out. They got first place, right?
It's been a spectacular run from them. I mean, from the very word go all the way to this last match as well. I think that when you look at their performance across, as an average even across all these 3 days, they have stood out above the rest here. So absolutely spectacular. I've just finished doing a tournament in Thailand as well. The fans are going to be going absolutely radio rental for everything that they've just been able to accomplish here. They should be very, very proud of this team.
I mean, on that note, Seven Worlds Gaming was actually watching the finals live in the arena, and he told us that when Falcon Esports got knocked out, the entire arena was silent, except for Sertani, who was screaming because he knew with them being eliminated, they got themselves $500,000 and they got themselves the title. Let's actually take a look at the overall standings from bottom to top here so you get an idea of where all the other teams did place, of course. 52 Esports rounding things out with 76 points in 18th place, the team coming in from Pakistan. But hey, a lot of experience for them. They still get a decent amount of money. Let's be perfectly clear about this one. But they get a lot of experience that they can take for themselves back to Pakistan they could take it and hopefully get themselves into PMGC.
Yeah, exactly. Though we did see Team Soul secure that last chicken dinner right there, huge for the Hindi fans, and also able to push himself up in 11th position. That's a huge prize score increase they just got with that final game. So, man, Team Soul feeling good, and can't wait to see them getting more and more integrated in the esports scene, hopefully.
Yeah, the game kind of came to them, but I mean, it was a strong holdout, and I love the way in which they pushed out towards the end to make sure back-to-back had absolutely no room to play. They really strangleholded that position and took it nicely.
Let's actually move up on into the overall ranks to see, potentially into our top 5, right? Because obviously we know who our winner is, and we're going to have Damwon Kia. Enigma Galaxy has made their way through as well, but we can see Seoul, like you mentioned before, 11th. Back-to-back, let's give them a little bit of credit. They started the day off in last place, able to get themselves into 10th. They had a really good performance today, and if they were able to maintain that performance in the prior days, we potentially could have seen them top 5.
Yeah, unfortunately, like 2 days where they tended to struggle really hurts your overall performance to reach top 5. So still good comeback towards the end of the tournament as a whole, but man, the fact that we can think now we're going to have 3 local teams in the after-party showdown, that is going to be mental.
Yeah, just to touch on back-to-back as well here for a moment. The day one, I actually asked you guys, where are they at the end of the day? Because quite honestly, they looked non-existent. Today, absolutely not the case. They really actually came to play here in this last day, so kudos to them.
Yeah, J7 as well. We saw quite a few plays out of him and J-Way. But as we look up into the leaderboards, RSG, unfortunately, after a dominating performance at day 2, they unfortunately failed to qualify. But we can see here Damwon Kia, Enigma Galaxy, Stalwart Esports, Team Falcons, and Vampire Esports will be participating next week in the after-party showdown with all the invited teams from around the world. It's going to be so exciting.
It feels like a mini PMGC, the after-party showdown, what we're going to have, right? You're going to have all these huge names, and also you're going to be able to have BTR join the mix. You're going to have RAT Sport. Like, that is going to be a really insane event. But Vampire Esport, 220 points. As you said, consistently here, Kalash, looking like the best team consistently from day 1 up into day 3. And when they have a good game, it's a really good game that allows them to just stand out from the rest.
And we really got to delve into this team as well throughout the 3 days. We got to get opinions from Sertani. We got to watch them on the battlefield, extract information on how they were playing. It's great that the top 5 that we have going in, we have a few teams that are approaching the game in a quite similar way, but then you've got this different diverging path of Enigma Galaxy, very rotation heavy, Damwon Kia, very central heavy. All of these guys are going to be bringing different things to the table at the very end to try and get themselves even more money next weekend.
And the fact that they make it also Enigma Galaxy without a single chicken dinner, extreme consistency. Like, first day, a little bit rough, right? But I think the offline event buff kind of came their way afterwards. They saw like, Falcons did it. We can maybe try and replicate that a little bit. So good for them, and especially for Damwon, like your South Korean overlords making it into the after party. Hell yeah.
I'm actually excited to see what Enigma Galaxy does as well going into next week, considering we've seen them in PUBG in the past do exceptionally well. I think they potentially could pull it off again and maybe, I want to say, redeem themselves a bit, because I think we expected a little bit more out of them, even though they did obviously finish top 5.
I think they're a team that if you give them room, they're actually extremely dangerous. But here in an 18-team lobby, you don't really have much room. Lobbies are a bit different next weekend.
How many teams do we go down to next week, Max?
I'm going to have 12, but the maps at play are also a bit different. So there's not that much space to work with. Oh no.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy.
Well, before we move into our MVP, because remember, there is a prize pool for them, $5,000. I want to give a big shout out to MasterCard and Saudi as well, because they've made this possible, the likes of all the other lovely sponsors we've had here in this event. But don't worry, for you guys at home, there's still things for you guys to win. The Vibe and Drive event currently going on within PUBG Mobile is happening. Get your friends together and complete the missions, and you get yourself a free legendary set that is permanent. I'm looking at you, Max. It's permanent. He doesn't have one yet. But
I permanently don't have it.
But maybe we can make that happen for you. But gentlemen, as we have finished off the day, right, there were questions. We knew Action was MVP after day 1. We knew Lightning was MVP after day 2. However, Action was top overall.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are things different now after seeing Vampire Esports show up like this in the last day? Don't show it just yet, though.
I still might stick with Action.
I think Action had such a big lead, right, and the extreme consistency really helped, but Mike was also insane in
he was. And then the closest from Falcons was for Never Alone. And but it was quite a margin.
You like the limbs.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, well, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you out there, let's actually find out who our MVP of PMWI 2022 it's going to be. It is Action. He holds on strong. 37 eliminations, 7,600 damage. I feel like the elims and damage for him definitely helped carry him through.
Especially kind of the work he he kind of laid the foundations in day one to be like, it's going to be really hard to catch up with him regardless. Yeah, average survival time actually for an MVP a little lower.
It's actually low,
but still really blasting out of control.
And it's great when you think about it, right? We keep selling Stalwart as this incredible team, and when you look at their fragging duo, you've got Top and Action. Top actually taking the MVP of his home region, and now on the international stage, Action taking this MVP is insane. But man, it was so close. Mike barely could have made it, but Action stayed on top.
I think one name here that we really haven't talked too much about is Wave. We've really not touched on him here throughout the desk as a whole, but I guess the thing is about Vampire is that it wasn't just really an individual performance as much as Mike has really kind of been at the forefront of that. Every single component of this team has looked excellent throughout this tournament here, and so it's been a true team effort.
Yeah, I'm just jealous about Wave. No, that's why I didn't talk about him. I just like his hair, and I wish I had it.
You do like his hair?
Yeah, I do like his hair. That's why I'm not going to talk about him.
Your hair's looking better from day 1 to day 3 now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I did the offline event buff. There you go, just get rid of it.
That's right, that's right.
The offline hotel haircut buff that comes through. But obviously, great to see still this many teams able to perform so well, and many individual players as well. I mean, the thing is, we normally cover just Western Europe, so it's great to actually cover a broader audience of players just so we can see who's really up and coming. Because in a few months' time, PMG's coming.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for Nova Experts.
Regional Clash.
And Regional Clash. Oh, I mean, come on. You know we're all going to be sitting there watching Regional Clash together, get the popcorn in hand or whatever we're going to be eating, because that's going to be insane. But PMGC is going to be even better.
There's so many teams that are going to be really interesting to keep track of, and I'm especially hyped to see what Lightning can do, because when you think of like Chinese top players, you got yourself your Order, you got your Power Boys, you got your Jimmy, your boy Jim up there.
Boy Jim.
Yeah, Lightning came in as a very big surprise. Didn't know what to expect from him in particular, but he really stood out for the team. So PMGC, if they make it, that could be a really, really hype player to see play.
My favorite thing about coming into these truly international tournaments, and we did it here as well, is getting the opportunity to truly study down on every region and figure out exactly the kind of differences between them. I mean, one thing, even just as small as Damwon Kia, South Korea, bringing in the DBS constantly, always holding until the very end of the game.
Bison.
I think as Bisons as well. I think as time goes on, some of these little things can be taken away from other regions, and it becomes meta as time goes on.
On that note about Damwon Kia, think about South Korea when it came to PMGC two years ago. We had Archer Gaming, if I'm not mistaken.
And it was,
and they didn't fare too well. But to see that region turn it around like this in just like a year's time, because Damwon Kia did fantastic last year at PMGC, is very difficult to do.
And it's very interesting because you remember there was Inonix on the team back then, actually renamed to Forest. And he's the one who popped off a lot of the time for the side of Damwon. So I think South Korea really are putting their name on the map of PUBG Mobile Esports.
Don't get me started on South Korean esports.
Go for it.
I'll talk for half an hour.
We have a podcast after this,
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, very, very impressive.
Very impressive indeed. We did mention before there's a award for MVP. There's also the other awards we mentioned before, like Gunslinger, like Eagle Eye. Let's take actually a look in to see who all won the respective awards and how much money they got for themselves here. We can see Action, of course, gets the MVP, but there we go. Wave and Mike, they didn't win MVP, but they still made it on there with 2.
There's still some decent money coming their way. Really good stuff. I mean, that's what you pointed out earlier, right, Kalaris? It was a really big team effort from all of the team of Vampire Esports. So having them, 2 of the different players taking Gunslinger and Grenade Master, I'm really not surprised.
And of course for Eagle Eye as well, for a long portion of this time, it was actually Top holding that with, I think, 375-ish meters. But then Hector came in halfway through yesterday, being able to take that crown with a long... It might have even been on Sandhog. And if
I think
it was. That's nuts. But because normally it's all close combat in Sandhog. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Team Seoul, they won't make it through into the next part of the event. But nonetheless, I mean, big awards for all these players. I mean, I don't even want to think about how much money Vampire Esports are taking home, because it's $500,000, plus they get the money for these awards as well.
After party
showdown. I mean, just imagine somehow they go home with $1 million.
The fact that there is different stipulations in the after party, and now Vampire's in there. Oh my!
And they won those awards.
Yeah, that bodes well for their
really
money count.
Yeah,
the bank account's gonna raise, boys.
Okay, this was actually scrims for the after party for them.
Well, Sir Danny, I will give you my info so you can send me some money. I can tell you about my favorite car as well, maybe some UC, something. Because the desk buff, I think, the desk blessing we gave him and his team is very important. But gentlemen, before we do end off the entire day here, and of course the main event, I want to give you a chance to say any final last words here.
No, I think it's been great to come back to an offline event, right? It's been, what, 2-3 years since we've been back to offline event, and seeing the crowd present and supporting, Team Falcons, the local team, and even a team that is not local actually winning the event, that is Vampire, is just fantastic. And I just hope we get back into the more offline event-focused events like PMWI, and I think it's just great.
For me, I'm always a big fan of watching the macro plays unfold from all of these teams, and the fact that we have a few different styles at the very top for the top 5 moving into the next portion, as well as taking the lion's share of all the money, is very exciting for me as an analyst to see the way that you can win in PUBG Mobile. Doesn't always have to be the same track way.
Yeah, well, we're obviously going to find out what's going to be happening next week. We do get the after party showdown, obviously for myself, for Claris, for MaxBen, for Blink, for John, for Seven Worlds Gaming, and of course for Avenger. We appreciate you guys all tuning in, but you're going to have to wait a week. But to cure that itch until we do get back here, watch some highlights and a recap here from Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib. We'll see you soon.